regime. We learned things, we grew, we cried, we laughed. Like so much has happened in this 100 days. And I am so thankful for it. I'm so thankful that you guys showed up so enthusiastically, right? This is what I'm talking about. Hey, Jamie, how's it in homeschool? This is what I mean about enthusiastic consent in all of the things, right? When we talk about consent, it's usually only, it's around sex. And if we brought enthusiastic consents, right, that ecstatic yes and that holy no to all of our things, that we wouldn't have as much of an issue in that area too. Happy 100 to us all. Thank you, Jamie. Tiffany says, I honestly don't know how I would have gotten through the first 100 days without this and you, Des. Well, I mean, we would have figured it out, like, because people are doing it. Like, not everybody's here, but I am so glad that those that needed this space found this space, that we have found each other, right? And we're continuing on because we're coming back. We're coming back. But I love this break for you guys. Tell me what you're going to do during your break, because I am excited to hear about that too, right? We're going to have 2 weeks. What the heck is today's date? Today is the 4th. Today is the 4th. I'm coming back on the 19th, right? And we're going to be talking about some things. I've already started working out conversations and I put them on the editorial calendar. So you'll see that in June, we'll go more forward with those thought terminating cliches, because I said you guys seemed very interested in that and like kind of how it impacts our lives. Kate says, hopefully I'll have my first grandbaby by then. That is freaking mind blowing to me, Kate. And I am so thrilled and excited for you. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. I know that sharing that space with my, at the time, very long time, 30 years, best friend. We raised our first kids together. And I was there for the birth of both my nieces' kids. Um, and that just was an amazing feeling. And I was like, this is great, right? Like this is great. Even though like it's like my great nephews, right? But it feels very grandparenting, like because you raise these kids and now these kids are having other kids. So I'm like, oh my God, like, okay, my nickname is gonna be abuelia, like grandma aunt. And it was just so beautiful. It was just such an intense thing. So I am thrilled for you to step into your crone era in that way, because I promise you, as somebody, and it's such a blessing because she's not blood related. She's not my biological child or anything. So her choosing to have me still in her life and the life of her children has been just an amazing blessing, like going into this, like, wow, these generations that I get to love on and watch grow. So I celebrate that for you deeply. It is a beautiful feeling. Like, oh my God, there's some more of yous in the world. It's kind of wild. It's very wild. So 100 days, guys. We did it. We rocked it. You guys are amazing and consistent. And don't you let anybody tell you anything else, okay? And let this inform you of what you are able to do, right? Like, let this next time you think, oh, I can't do that, like, oh, 3 months, day by day. Give it your best day by day, right? Because if we did this by the calendar, the 100th day was meant to end April 30th, right? But there were some days where I couldn't show up for baseball. I couldn't show up. I was not feeling well. There were some other things. So I showed up and said hi to you, but we did not do 100 actual calendar days, right? That is how time is not real. It's just not. So remind yourself of all of these truths. The next time you think you can't show up for you or you can't show up for something, you can. And you can give it your best every single day. And that's all you need. That's all. That's all you owe yourself. Lisa says, I sent my BFF of 20 plus years the link for your Substack and the scholarship link. I'm honored. I am honored, honestly, because you know what that tells me? It's more than just sharing. When people share my work, um, It is something to me. It's not just like social currency is super important. Like, let's be very clear. And Black Mirror had a great episode on that, right? We would die without it at one point in time. But social currency is super important when you're trying to get that work out. But what it informs me, right? Like I said, I try to stay curious, teachable, and I'm always looking for things to be information, is that you trust me and you trust my work. 20-year friendship to send me to someone you trust, I've had people that are like, "Oh, I print out your articles and leave them in my office," and they're therapists and other types of educators of mental health. And I'm like, what an honor to be trusted with the people that you care about, right? Oh, I'm sharing this story, with my granddaughter and her child. What? Like, you brought me into your house with your people that love you, that trust you. You brought me to your job where people pay you to help them become better versions of themselves. And you think I can add to that? That's an honor. That's an honor. So thank you. I'm glad, right? And see, that's beautiful. She finally expressed interest in learning. People are gonna take their time, right? Like, think about this, like I said, like, the Liberation song. This is the song that doesn't end. It's that, right? And go back to the relay race analogy, right? You may be there and she may just be at the start, and that race doesn't end either. So we're constantly passing the baton, right? And what we can't do is while we're running our race, drag nobody else behind us, right? You can't be like, come on, bestie, you're coming. No, no, that's not consensual. That's like we're getting full circle to enthusiastic consent in all things. We are not dragging people. We are inviting people along on our personal journey of liberation, which will benefit the dismantling of a system that's killing us all. Right? There is space for urgency. Remember, at one point in time in these lessons, I spoke about it's not that things aren't urgent. I want you to learn to prioritize, right? What needs to happen right now? I got a list of maybe 100 fucking things to do. What needs to be done now? What needs to happen today? Of those 100 things, not only what needs to happen today, what do I have the capacity for? And I'm going to give you a perfect example. Look at God. Won't you do it? This morning, as I'm looking around my house and feeling the energy of the clutter, right? Because I am very in tune with the seasonal change. And I'm feeling the weight of fall clothes and winter clothes. And I'm like, they got to get the fuck out of my house, right? Like, literally, it is draining me. I need you gone. You're taking up spaces in my closets, in my drawer. And I started bagging things to go bring to the shelter. And I went into my room to go start going through Shady's clothes and like, let me pull this out and make space for the new. And then I was like, I don't have the capacity for that, though it's a thing to do. What's the priority? You know what they don't have? None of them had summer clothes for this impending 2 weeks from now when it's 1,000 degrees in Georgia. I sat my ass on that bed looking at the mess that I'm supposed to bag up. And I went onto Carter's, okay, because they're having like a 70% off sale. And I'm a forever like 1990s Carter's mom because the clothes last through the entire season and like enough to pass it down. You know what I'm saying? And they're cheap. And I went right to Carter's and I went to the 10 and under deal. I got 40 items, which was inclusive of 2 bathing suits for each kid for $350. Okay. And I charge that to my credit card. My card is card. And then when I pay that down, I will order their winter clothes because out of season, everything's cheaper. And now that gives me the fuel to be like, oh shit, I need to clear out this stuff to make room for the new stuff. So priorities, right? And what you actually have the capacity for. Yes, getting the stuff out of the house was super important. And it feels urgent because it's stressing me out. It's weighing me down. I'm like, I'm going to go into a depressive episode if I do not get this sorted. However, my brain was like, do this. Right. And so I got my spark of joy. Sometimes we do need joy to move us forward, and that's okay. Right. That is why we center joy, celebration, in our liberation, rest. Right. Like, there we go. Now I'm excited. They got new clothes coming. So we got to get this stuff out. It changes the entire mood. So, and that's what I want us to think about with the learning journey and the liberation journey, right? Like, people have been inundated, and white people specifically have just figured out racism in 2020. Okay. They are overwhelmed, oversaturated because again, America is a business, whole series on that on my Substack. America is a business. So something is always being marketed to us, something is always being sold to us. And for the past 5 years specifically, anti-racism has been sold to white people as the only way to do this work, right? So they are oversaturated, overwhelmed, no time to process, no time to sit with the grief. I'm trying to tell you, take a pause, because have y'all sat with the grief of your own loss, your own colonization? Who were you before you were white? So that takes its own integration and its own time before, you can turn around and say, hey, let's do this. And anti-racism is a very important journey to go on, but it is only but a limb of the tree. And we are trying to uproot this shit. Okay. And that's how we have to see that intersectionality, that awareness. Where are people at? And actually see their humanity. What's being offered here in this space is your humanity. I get it. You're tired. Tired of hearing the same shit. Tired of doing that work. Tired. I get it. I hear it. Take a breath. It's okay. You could do this. You could show up. And you did, and you proved it to yourself. But in the interim, there's been rest, there's been space to grieve, there's been journaling time. All of that has to happen in order for people to say, yeah, I want to come in. It's an invitation, right? Yeah. You know what? That place feels safe. I want to do that work. Oh, and it looks like you're enjoying it. Nobody wants to do something that they're not going to enjoy. Like, let's just be honest. We just have to be very real with ourselves with this work. Let me see. Lisa said, I did give her one thing I insisted she start doing though. And that's fair. Like you've done it so you could trust she could trust you, right? Rest 30 minutes a day. Beautiful. What a beautiful way to guide her onto her liberation journey, right? Liberate yourself, rest. Start there. Take a breath. Like I told you, when I started working with white women one on one, very specifically, teaching you guys how to breathe. Even that, take up space, like get out of your head, right? Get deeper into your body was brought up so much grief. There were times where I spent 30 minutes with them just crying. Like, I don't know if I've ever taken a deep breath like that. That everybody has to start where they have to start. So thank you for bringing me to them. Thank you for being consistent, not insistent, right? Can't that we can't browbeat people into doing it, but we can be consistent and say, you know what? I found something that I enjoy. I think that hey, this is what I learned. This is something that is good. We could be consistent. Nobody's asking you to not do that. Consistency is needed. Insistent, not so much. Tiffany says, yes, I need to do the same thing with my winter clothes. Yeah, girl, go. I'm over it. I'm like, and I am such a thrifty shopper. And I'm like, I still do hand-me-downs. Like I have a date with a friend of mine next week where we're gonna like hang out and I'm going through her closet. Okay, because what? So I'm fine with I don't even go through the clothes anymore. I'm literally just going to take my clothes, bag my clothes, walk out them to the car and drive to a shelter and be like, here. Plus, I'm a large woman, so like fat clothes are not always available where when shelters exist, right? Like there's plenty of other things that people often give away, but fat clothes are not. So I love that. Here you go. Here's some kid clothes. I mean, obviously I go through it in the sense that it's not torn or stained or anything, but most of the time I get rid of that stuff anyway. So yeah, bag it and go. I'm not saving anything anymore. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We are here at the day 100. And let's see, because I did all that chatting and I did not pull up my notes. I mean, I have them up, but my laptop is locked now. Let me sip my coffee. You got your hot drink? You got your water? Mm, that was lovely. Savor more things. Yes, hands up, hearts, prayers, all of it, Carolyn, all of it. God, coffee is so lovely. All righty then. Would you like to open laptop or were you pausing to give me a pause? I appreciate you. Okay, so day 100, envisioning your personal legacy of liberation. It's a powerful one. Our three talking points. Okay. Somebody wash these dishes and the top of my coffee cup. like Dawn soap, you know what I'm saying? Stand by. I didn't taste it with the first sip, but that second sip hit. Day 100, envisioning your personal legacy of liberation. Three talking points. One, aligning vision with values, right? We did this early on, right? Where I was like, here is a values checklist, how to align that with your boundaries. I will embed the vision, the value checklist in this replay as well. Take it. Get to know what you value. If you don't recall, I'll give a refresher. I was like, what do you value? Honesty, transparency, etc. And I gave the example of, for me, the two are not the same thing, right? Someone being honest with me is not, eh, I expect people to lie. I think that it is a lizard brain thing to do. I think it is our immediate defense mechanism. I shared with you guys, my son is a liar. And I'm like, I don't even know why. But whenever I talk to him, he's like, I'm afraid I'm gonna get in trouble. And I'm like, you don't get spanked. Like, there's not ever really punishment, there's correlated consequences. So I don't understand. So for me, lying is neutral, right? I will give somebody the first lie. I will ensure that they are safe. Let's try this again. Let's reset, right? And that's honesty. What I prefer is transparency. I value transparency. Transparency is I don't have to ask you where you've been. That would be you giving me your honest answer. Transparency is you offering that information, right? Hey, babe, I am going to go hang out with the guys, or, mom, I really fucked up in school today, whatever that looks like. Whatever that looks like, it's you offering this information willingly and trusting me with it, right? That's transparency versus honesty. Honesty makes me personally feel like I have to ask you questions and I don't enjoy interrogating people. Where have you been? How was school? None of that. I don't enjoy that. Oh, well, I heard from your teacher that you did this, and now you get a chance to be honest. Mm, dun, 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 dun. Okay. Is it better now? Are we still frozen? Okay, we're back. All right, good. Was the sound also frozen? Like, where should I stop? Where should I go back to? Yay! Okay. So I don't know where it froze, but I was talking about honesty versus transparency and giving examples of that, right? So aligning your vision with that. Yes, no sound. What? What's happening? So there was sound, but I was frozen. So you heard all that I said? Yes or no? Mm, 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 mm. Somebody tell me. So then I don't wanna go back. There was no sound. Okay, great. Let's start from there. So I was talking about how I would embed the values checklist into this replay, right? Because when we're talking about values, those are your own, right? As we spoke about this before, and if somebody didn't know, or needs a refresher, I was sharing with how I shared with you guys that honesty and transparency for me are two different things, right? So I value transparency over honesty. Honesty is something that you give me an answer when asked, and I don't enjoy interrogating people. Transparency is something that is offered, right? So, as an example, hey, babe, I'm going out with the guys today. We're going to the pool hall instead of, my man didn't come home and I'm calling you and I'm like, hey, where you at? Oh yeah, I'm out with the guys at the pool. Why the fuck I had to call you? Like, what? That's so weird and so odd to me. I prefer you to be transparent, right? If a kid is having an issue in school, I don't want to hear it from the teacher, right? I want, and even if the teacher is the first point of contact because during school hours they can't, I anticipate that my child will be honest, right? Well, transparent with me and be like, when I say, "Hey, how was school?" or, what went on in school, whatever, if we have this conversation, usually I say, "What was the best part of your day?" I don't really, again, I don't enjoy interrogating. So what was the best part of your day today? Well, today the best part of my day was, lunch. We had a good time. However, I talked back to the teacher and I had to get, I had to go to the cool down corner. That's transparency. Me having to be like, what was the best part of your day? Oh, lunch was good, da, 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 and you left out that information. And then I have to now interrogate you a bit. Well, hey, I got a voicemail from the teacher. You want to tell me about it, bud? And now you spill the beans. It just does not jive with me very well, right? I prefer transparency over honesty. I then went into like with mutual aid. When I do that, I raise money through my mutual aid Venmo. It's a business Venmo. And I'll turn around and I'll say, there's $700 that needs to be raised for this. In those comments, I will offer pictures. Sent the money to so and so. Maybe I'll block out their name if they don't want it to be shared, or at least their last name. Sent this, sent this, sent this. And when that need is met, that need is met. That's transparency. Nobody should have to ask me, did you raise the $700, right? Because nobody should feel like you're taking more than you need. That doesn't work with mutual aid, right? The mutual aid is about the need being met collectively. Honesty versus transparency. So then when you do that, when you're building your vision of your personal legacy, right? You know what your visions are. Could be different, and that's absolutely okay. The end goal is liberation. How we get there, there's going to be many paths, right? So that is what I'm talking about there, is aligning your vision with values. My talking point here was a legacy of liberation is built by aligning daily actions with long-term values. Your legacy is shaped by how you live your truth and support others. Your daily life is absolutely your legacy. You will be remembered, and I don't care if it's just two people that will remember you and keep your name alive in the ether. You are still building a legacy. Too often, because of supremacy culture, we have separated our humanity, right? Supremacy culture separates us, it divides us, right? It disconnects us. It disconnects us from what? Those three things that I tell you: land, self, community. So, excuse me, when you think about legacy, we think on this grand scale and everything is tied to capitalism. Beyonce right now, right? She's on her Cowboy Carter tour, and we get to see not just one, but two of her daughters, right? And you see Blue as somebody who's going to most likely carry on this amazing torch that Beyonce has done in entertainment and whatever. And you see this up and coming Rumi, who knows what she will be, but we will equate that with legacy, and that is legacy also. And legacy is the parent that I talked about the other day who was vying for the school council, and her daughter wrote an article about her and shared with her school. That is also legacy. We have got to release supremacy culture's idea of what is something, right? Because it's always in the grand and not in the mundane, not in the everyday. I still remember teachers, Robert Frost, Miss Caldwell. I was in fifth, sixth grade class. Yeah, back then they skipped. I was a gifted kid. I really, really wish they cared about your social fucking development more than they cared about your academics, right? So I was wildly too young to be in the sixth grade, but it was like a fifth, sixth grade split. And Miss Caldwell was a teacher there. And she reminds me of a Miss Frizzle. And I still have an anthology of Robert Frost poems because of her. That's legacy. That's legacy. She may not even realize that or know, right? But that is a legacy. So you have to, when we're doing decolonization and liberation work, that's a part of it, is releasing all of the things that supremacy culture tells you. It's not big enough, it's not great enough, it's not grand enough. No, it is. Because impacting one person's life is legacy. And that's it. That's it, right? So as an example, a teacher incorporates decolonized curriculum practices. That's me. Ensuring that future generations learn history through a lens of truth and equity. There are plenty of educators out here. I reminded you earlier on, we do not need the government to tell us how to teach. We do not need the government for DEIA hiring practices, learning. We can do this on our own, right? If you are in the position to hire someone, if you need a mandate or a law to hire people diversely, I don't want to work there anyway. Because back to aligning your vision with your values, my values will not allow me to align myself with a company that would operate that way. And if we moved more, and I get it because capitalism keeps its foot on our neck, but that's part of it, right? Are you living smaller? Are you doing more communal living? What are you willing to give up to get to where you want to go to, right? Like I said, I have, guys, I took you on this tour and we have not done the fairy tree, but when I come back, we will. It's been rainy and yuck. I took you on the tour of the property and I showed you guys where I want to put tiny houses for the kids. Update. Guess what's cheaper than tiny houses and comes fully equipped? Campers. 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 Okay? You're talking about $3,000 to $7,000 investment and it could be a 1 or 2 bedroom space, right? Like they can go to the bathroom, they can cook. Are you okay with going smaller, right? I mean, I'm not gonna ever live in a tent. I can't do that. I'm not that outdoorsy of a person, but I could do an RV, I could do a camper, I could do communal living in that small way. Yes, I know, Dinah, 100 days. Like those sorts of things. And those are legacies, right? Like that I'm teaching my children. They're already preparing. Like Erin is like swiping through camper ads on Marketplace. Like that's a legacy. And the legacy is that they're learning that we can live communally, that they don't have to get out, right? Like, because my son is already asking, do I have to leave at 18? I'm like, no. I'm like, stop watching YouTube, son. You absolutely don't have to leave at 18. Like, why would you have to leave? Are you prepared to do anything at 18? Your brain is not even fully developed. No, you don't need to leave the house at 18. So, all of those sorts of things. So, I ask you as a reflection point, what values do you want to define your legacy? And how can you begin living them today? Every single day. Campers, yes, love that idea. Girl, I was like, why? And that's only because this is a tiny house, right? This is a converted shed, but this shed already existed on the property when I moved here. I just converted it. So I was like, oh, okay, I could get some more sheds, but they're pricier, You're talking about like you can get a shed for like 7 to 15,000, like a smaller one, and they do monthly payments. A lot of people, and they come electric. They come wired for electric, but now you're still needing you still need to do all of the things inside, right? So it's still a larger investment. And I have 3 children and I don't know what my money is going to look like. And I would like for it to be equitable for all, right? And then I was like, okay, I can't actually. This is how my train of thought goes. So I'm sharing that with you. So I bought the RV and I'm back to transparency. I bought the RV not because I'm bullying, but my homegirl was selling it because she bought it for contractors that were working on her property. And when they left, she was like, "You guys can take it, or I'll keep it, whatever." And so she kept it, but she had no need for it. And I was like, "If they don't want it, I do." She was like, "Here." She sold it to me for $10,000 at $100 a month. Okay, score, deal finder. So I was like, "Hell yeah!" I've always wanted an RV. I want to travel. I want to drive around. I was a road tripping gal in the 20s. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, yeah, bitch, but you're 45, you're disabled, and you have 3 children. And oh, you'd need to tow a car behind that big boy. And I'm like, I can't do that. I was like, I don't. If this thing breaks down, I don't even know how to use an RV, right? But I did buy it because of such a great deal. And I was like, even if I know I had told her then, I was like, even if I never move this, it's a house for $10,000 for one of my kids to live in. So bada bing, bada boom. And so what happened was I started looking for pull behind campers for the summer. I was like, we have a truck. I could do a pull behind camper and we could do some like local beach, like Savannah. We could do Georgia really well, maybe North Carolina, still have a pull behind so we could still have the camping experience. And then as I started looking at them and the affordability, I was like, oh, I could afford this. I could pace this out, right? Every 3 years, I could buy one of these kids, right? Because my goal was every time somebody turned 13, like a kibbutz, have a space for them to be out and start learning how to live on their own. Anyway, that is how that idea developed. So there you go. Campers for the win. So could you get property, right? And this is malicious compliance because you're not digging, you're not breaking ground for a toilet or any of that sort of stuff. So honestly, you could truthfully, as long as you get an unrestricted property, right? Like read the fine print. If you get unrestricted land, because some of them do get funny and they're like no mobile homes, no RVs, no campers. But if you could find unrestricted land, you and your entire family could start off with campers. You and your friends can start off with campers, right? And you don't have to do it immediately. It doesn't have to be all in. It could be, hey, we're going to do this and we're going to do it like almost like a timeshare. We're going to gather together in the summer, maybe the 4th of July. We're going to see what this looks like. We're going to stay here together for 30 days. And you build little by little. What does this look like? And you build a garden in a corner. And then you do find out how to have an RV pad or compostable toilets, whatever that looks like. But all of those things happen, right? Like those are your values you have to align it with. Can you live smaller so that you can turn around and say no to a lot of things that capitalism forces the yes from? Because again, systems of supremacy and whiteness are non consensual. A lot of people are doing a lot of shit that they don't want to do, working a lot of places that they don't want to work, but survival. So, what are you doing to build that parallel system so you are not constantly making choices under duress? Because choices under duress aren't actually choices. The more you know. Okay. 2, leaving impact beyond your lifetime. That is something that is so important, right? Legacy is not just about individual achievement. It's about creating systems of change that continue after you're gone. As an example, a community activist establishes a scholarship fund for marginalized youth, creating opportunities for future change makers. As a reflection, I said, what long-term impact do you hope to leave behind and what steps can you take to begin that work now? Mine is the Selenite and Sage Healing Homestead, right? I wrote my bylaws according to the directions, and the elements in those directions and what that should look like when I die and somebody takes over that space, that land, that vision should remain aligned with these bylaws, these value systems of community, shared values, all of the decolonized thing living. I could share the bylaws with you guys, but all of that is that's my legacy, right? And again, it may only get left to my kids, right? Or it may be a friend, or it may be another person that kind of takes that along, or it may be that a lot of people look and read the bylaws and be like, I want to adopt those kind of bylaws, and I do it. That's legacy. Even if my name is not remembered, the energy of that is, right? I shared with you guys before my mom and my stepdad died in a car accident in 2009. But the headlines there was like AIDS activist dies in car accident. That's a legacy. Now, a lot of people may not know my mom, but the people that did, she impacted. That's important. That is that is a legacy. That is something that I'm proud of. And even though my children never knew it, above our altar where her picture hangs, is that beautiful newsletter. So they know it. So they understand, right? One of the things that my mom used to tell me when I was little, and I loved it, was you come from good stock, Desi. And I was like, oh, and I do, right? And you do too. Like all of our ancestors are not shitholes. Like, and we have to touch that. And those that are, they are definitely going to deal with that. In their own way, in their own realm, according to your own beliefs. But what we're tapping into are those that are not, right? We are making peace and calling forth those who were not the worst of the worst. And we're calling the best of the best forth for ourselves in order to journey forward into liberation and leave that legacy. Because you guys all have to remember that you are a part of something greater than just yourself. Joha says, may your mama continue the recipes. Girl, don't get me to crying on this damn live. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah. But like we are not new generations. Every generation, we are a part of our people. And that is important. And that's legacy. Let's break this down to the bare bones. Your existence, my friend, is legacy. You existing. Just that simple. You being here in this moment is legacy because you are the remnants of someone's love, someone's resilience, someone's fighting, someone's demand for their own liberation because we have all suffered through this violence of Christianization and colonization for the last 2,000 odd years. Your existence is legacy. Okay? Open my laptop back. Did that blow your mind, Christina? I love that. Welcome to the paradigm shift. Okay, so three, mentoring future generations. Mentorship is a crucial component of legacy building. By investing time and energy in the next generation, you extend the reach of liberation, right? I do this often. I am talking to children all the time, and I don't understand why. Because do you hear how I talk? I swear to God, I talk to kids the same fucking way. But they love me and I love them and it works out fine. You know what I'm saying? So, but that is super important, right? Back to that intergenerational love and legacy and passing that on. It matters, right? I am so honored. Erin has like friends on Discord and stuff, right? Because thank you. Because that's the world of today. And Erin will put me like, put them all on speaker and they're like, my friends want to say hi to you. And I'm like, "Oh, that's so cool," right? Like, I don't recall being that way when I was little. I mean, I brought my friends home, so I guess it's the same. There's a correlation there. But it's, like, such an honor, right? Like, our Kieran now, he has a little group chat with his school friends, and they will text me singularly, like, "Hi, Mrs. Stevens," like, and I'm like, "Hey, baby." But that is something that's beautiful, right? That trust, that community that is being built. And mentorship is not just intergenerational. Sometimes it's right here, right? Sometimes it's, and I'm thinking of the word, what is the word? Lateral. There's lateral mentorship, right? When Lisa is talking in the beginning where she's like, "Oh, I sent my friend your information. She's finally interested." That was lateral mentorship. When she said, "Okay, here's where I want you to begin 30 minutes of rest today." That's lateral mentorship, right? Which is a beautiful thing because it's destroying the hierarchy that supremacy culture gives us, right? Oh, I know more than you, so shut the hell up and listen to me and and it just keeps on and carries on, right? Where when it's lateral, it's like, "Hey, I'm teachable, you're teachable, we're learning together and we can still mentor each other." And there's something beautiful about that. So keep that in mind too. As an example, though, a mentor in a liberation cohort guides participants through community organizing, offering ongoing support and feedback. Those are awesome too, right? When you're passing that baton, when you're letting that legacy live on beyond you. We have one person here who is 70. I feel like you can't tell me nothing. Nobody could tell me nothing when I can have a 70-year-old sitting down and say, "I learned something from you." Like, what? Ma'am. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for remaining teachable. Thank you for honoring what I have to say and not dismissing me as with my youth or not knowing enough or not having lived long enough, right? That is intergenerational because I think that sometimes when I say intergenerational, we only think of kids, but I'm 45. This woman is 70. Am I 45? I'm at 46. What did I just turn? I think I'm 46. Oh my God. Anyway, I'll figure that out in about six seconds. Give me a second. See, 58. Lisa's 58. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. These are intergenerations too, right? Because some of these people are boomers. Some of them are silent generations. I'm Gen X, millennial. Like you have, like, even outside of age, 69, 70 in September. Dinah. What? That's beautiful. This intergenerational exchange that's happening even in this space. So it's not just children, right? I have people that are older, younger that come to me, and that is an honor to be trusted in a space with something that they are trying to build or something that is new for them and to not be dismissed. So imagine if I, at my big old age, can feel that honor and that reverence and like, wow, thank you. Imagine when I'm listening to my 6-year-old. Imagine when you're listening to your 14-year-old nephew or niece or nieceling, right? And they see and feel heard and seen in a world that does not. Remember, when we are doing this work, who are you censoring? You don't need to worry about trans people, black people. one person, because you will get distracted. You want to liberate the world, liberate this one person, the most unambiguously Black, queer, trans, disabled, poor, non Christian, adopted child. That's it. That kid, you make this world accessible, livable, joyful for that one kid. You are working to free that one kid, you will free everybody else. You will free everybody else. That because children across the globe are the most marginalized, right? And then when you start adding more marginalized identities to them, that's the most marginalized of them. But as a collective group, I don't give a fuck what nobody's talking about. As a collective, children, children. Nobody has more oppression than children out the womb, out the womb. Nobody asked them what their name is. Nobody asked them what their gender is. Nobody asked them what their religion is. No one asked them what school they're going to, what clothes they want to wear, if they want, what formula, what foods, breastfed or not. They don't out the womb. Their entire life is curated. Who they will marry, where they will go to school, colleges. We plan children's lives so much so that when they start coming into their own truth, we need to grieve it. Grieve what though? What were you planning so heavily that you need to grieve? And I'm guilty of that my own self. This is me sharing my own. Remember, I have a 29-year-old child. I'm not new to this parenting game. I'm an OG. That is a most oppressed group collectively are children. Then when you want to start adding the marginalizations, it's that child. So thinking about that with that intergenerational legacy passing on, that's it. Right? We are mentoring these people wherever they are throughout the generations to create the liberated world for that one child. And freeing that one child, I promise you will free us all. Because you're meeting that baby's one need. All their needs will meet everyone's needs. That's what I was trying to say. So, as a reflection, who can you mentor or support to carry on the work of liberation? Ask yourself that, right? We get so caught up, right? I've gotten a lot of unsubscriptions lately. Let me see. Johan says, and this is why I'm an advocate for foster children in my community. Yes. Helping a child find their voice and be supported is so critical. Yeah, I fostered my great nephew for about 8 months. They moved him, I shared with you guys. They moved him to the foster parent that has his younger brother. But throughout that whole process, I gave them hell. I'm sure that that did not help the placement, but I gave them hell. And I was like, you guys, this is you cannot convince me that this is actually in the best interest of children. None of what you guys do is actually in the best interest of children. It absolutely is in the best interest of money. When I start looking at, when you're in it and you start realizing, oh, they pay for a transporter, they pay for a behavioral aid. I'm like, you guys are making money hand over fist off of this one little child. I was like, and none of this is for their best interest. You will send somebody different every day of the week to pick him up for a visit. And yet we're supposed to teach our children stranger danger. And you're not giving him any sense of security or anything. I'm so glad that there are people out there like you advocating specifically for foster children. That the work really is with the kids, right? And the work is really for the kids because we're all going to be dead. Like, especially if we're talking about a natural cycle, I'm gonna be dead. I won't. I may not live to see my youngest child my age right now. Do you know what I'm saying? Like realistically speaking, just on averages by weight, race, medical history, Shady's 6. I may not have another 40 years. That's just honest. Like, so my focus is the world that we are creating for them to be in. Dinah says, yes, my cousin teaches. Last night she told me 3 9-year-olds came to school with liquor and water bottles, age 9. I was a whole alcoholic by the age 12. I love Drew Barrymore for that. And I don't think enough people in this generation really know Drew Barrymore's story, right? She was an addict very young, cocaine, alcohol. She was just in the worst situations ever at the hands of Hollywood, her mother, and a lot of different things. And I love and admire Drew Barrymore so much, right? Because, well, basically, I grew up with her and I knew her backstory. I task you to really look into Drew Barrymore, anyone. Um, and it's amazing to see who she is as a person, how she's healed, how she's grown, her comeback from all of that. So, yeah, no, advocating for kids, it's really where it's at. Ajoha says, thanks, Christina. There are nonprofits all over that need volunteers. And that's it, right? That comes right down to the who are you supporting? Like, right? Who can you mentor or support to carry on the work of liberation? This is not a call. My call is my call to action is not go start your own thing. I've never said that. I'm like, it's beautiful. People are starting their own thing, and I see that, and there is a need for that. But what I ask them is there already something in your area that's happening? Very specifically, is it Black or Indigenous led? Many things have been happening for years, right? I told you guys, I remember my mom worked with a coalition. Um, in the South Bronx. We lived in Hunts Point, and God, and it was like a rainbow coalition, La Peninsula. It was something. It was very Puerto Rican and Black led, put it that way. And it was about, affordable housing and equitable housing in that area. And they existed forever. I think that they still exist because I went to look them up, and I think that they still exist. So if they do, and you have money, you have time, you have a voice, go there, right? Because these people have already made it in the doors, right? These people have already they already know where to go, who to talk to, and if they just had more numbers, if they had more financial backing, they would be able to go further. Right? Like that proverb, right? You want to go far, go alone. You want to go further, go together, sort of thing, right? So don't reinvent the wheel here either. If something is already happening, something already exists, show up there, right? Again, I turned around and I said I had a lot of unsubscriptions lately, and I recognize that that happens. Services are the first thing. I had a cleaning company for 20 years. When the economy goes, services are the first thing to go, right? So you start thinking about, what do I need? Do I need my cable? Do I need my cleaning service? Do I need this gym membership? Do I need this newsletter? Do I need what don't I need, right? You start pulling those things back to become conservative. So every person that has turned around and been like, I have to unsubscribe and worry about my bills, I'm like, cool, and I just shoot them a year subscription for free. Like, I get it, but I don't want this to. I don't want you to not have access to it, right? Like that's not the goal here. I get it. You're trying to survive. You feel under duress. Again, that's not a choice. If you are making that choice under duress now, if you just don't want, if I don't get feedback, if people unsubscribe and there's no feedback, I just assume you don't want to be around. And that's fine. I won't harass you. Don't take it as that. Like, I won't harass you. But if you've given me feedback and it's like, I'm working on my budget or I lost my job, that to me is here you go. Right. Because the money's already gone. That has nothing to, like, giving you something does not take away from me. That that's just not how this works. But all of that being said is that also what I notice, right, and I have a lot of friends, right, that run nonprofits and mutual aids, is that you guys are trying to spread it too thin. And so what I want to suggest is, like, let's say you guys say, I want to do X, Y, and Z. I want to pour in, and you have a group of 10 or 20. Turn around and say, you know what? Us five are going to support this person, this mutual aid until until because steady funding is what these things need, right? Steady bodies that they can count on. Remember, consistency. If I know, and your capacity, if I know I have a nonprofit, right, and I'm saying I need bodies here, and you're like, I could do this every Wednesday. Okay, but don't do it every Wednesday for 6 months, right? Because they need you longer than that, because they've been doing this for 50 years and their legacy is this, right? They've kept it going. Say I could do every Wednesday until, right? And then you guys do that within your group. Find people that are doing this work, that have been doing this work, and in turn, you supporting them, you will be being mentored. if you need to start your own thing, right, you will see how it works. You will know the ins and outs of it, right? And not necessarily like from a consultant standpoint, right? I get that too, right? Like, oh, can I consult somebody on something? And yes, I can, but you know what's even better? If you're in the work. If you're in the work, if you're being in community with people. So think about that when you're, it's like, who can you mentor or support to carry the work of liberation on? Dinah says, love Drew Barrymore's story. Yeah, I love her, right? Like I would like to meet her and just hug her because I know her walk very personally. And I think that she is an amazing, phenomenal person, at least from what can be perceived, what she puts out in the world. Nobody knows the inner worlds of someone all the time. But what she shares with us and what I perceive her to be, that she puts out is amazing. And I know what she's overcome, and I have a deep respect for her, right? Because she could have went a whole other way, did a whole lot of different things, and she really kicks ass. So yeah, so that's it. That's our day 100, guys. Are you okay? I'm not okay. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not okay. But it is our day 100. And I am so happy that you guys have been here with me these 100 days. And we will be back. We will be back. And I want to make sure that it is the 19th, because baby, Tiffany said, I'm not okay. I am not okay either, girl. John said, this was so good today. I'm so glad. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad that this container gets that lid, right? Like, you are your own living legacy. Your existence. If the only thing you took from this, and it's been an hour today, if the only thing you took from this, your existence is legacy. Your existence. You breathing is somebody's living legacy. Somebody fought for you to be here, to exist in this moment at this time. They went through hell, whether it was hiding under fucking baseboards and you are the last of your people, whether it was, surviving famine, whether it was uh, running away from enslavement, surviving witch trials. Like, I can go through the annals of the horrors against humanity due to Christianization and colonization. And we are the ones that made it. We are the legacy. We are their survival story because we all come from these people. And that's something that should just inspire you. I don't know how not to be inspired by that, right? When I say I am my ancestors' wildest dreams, I mean that on both sides, baby. I mean that on both sides. I am both my Irish and African Black ancestors' wildest dreams in the flesh right here in 2025. And you are too. You are too. And keep that truth with you. And we will be back because I see, like, oh, I'm going to miss you, girl. I go, we're taking a break. We're coming back. Don't do that because I'm going to cry and I don't want to cry. What are you doing? Why would you do this to me? Mm-mm. We're coming back. We're coming back. Let me go through the messages down here. Do, 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 do. Oh, you guys were talking. Okay, hold on. Lisa says, I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss you guys too, but we're going to be back in 2 weeks, But yes, it is a shift and I will miss this daily interaction with you guys. I'm going to be counting down the days. Oh, I love you. Tiffany says, same. Taylor says, bittersweet, but so much appreciation for you and this group. This has been absolutely amazing. Good morning, Peter. Michelle says, my heart is going to miss this. I may go back to the videos. Please go back to the videos. That is why it was so important for me to do like to put that replays out as articles so we can revisit and sit with some of these things. Carolyn said, I got the 19th on my calendar. I hope you have an amazing break. I hope you have an amazing break. This was a lot. This was intense too. Thank you for the hearts, Jamie. Tiffany says, I was thinking the same thing, Michelle. Oh. Kate, this has been beautiful. So appreciative. Thank you for creating the space and sharing yourself with us. Thank you. So deeply appreciated you and everyone here. Gratitude for you, Desiree. Thank you for this special offering. Kaylin, thank you so much, Desiree. And thank you guys so much. Like, honestly, you pouring into me, I'm going to cry. And, like, I'm still working on it. Like, still Gen Z. There's no crying in baseball, guys. Get your shit together. No. Honestly, this has been so, so beautiful. And you helped me as much as I've helped you. So don't you ever for a second be like, oh, it was all Des. It was us. We did this. This is what that collective looks like, right? This is what it looks like when, yeah, maybe there's somebody that leads in a different way. There's someone that could bring that together. And that is me. I get to be the thing that brings people together. And I love that, right? I consider myself a bridge. Um, but it takes people crossing that bridge in order to gather. So thank you very much for crossing that bridge. Tiffany says, oh, Dinah says, love you all. Oh my gosh, I love you guys. And this total, let me see. Tiffany says, and this totally has created a beautiful little community here. Thankful for this group of lovely people. It really, really has. This has been amazing. Looking forward to the pause and then the reconnect on the 19th. Same here. And I'm just checking. I'm gonna make sure that it's the 19th. Welcome to May, season of blooming, rooted in resistance. Boop, boop, boop. Roots method. What to expect this month. Weekly breakdown. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So you still get your articles, right? I'm just making sure that I have the date right. I am almost positive that it is the 19th, but I'm not. I probably should have pulled out my calendar because that would have been better. And yes, beginning Monday, May 19th, the podcast will return on a new sacred rhythm, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. And so right there, if you go to the pin post, if you want to know or share or tell somebody, we are going to be talking about the theme is Let It Die, Grief, Timing, and Sacred Release. Everything doesn't bloom, and that's sacred too. So we will be doing Monday is Grieving in Bloom season. Wednesday is the live urgency. Friday, we must release Let It Die, and so on and so forth. So yes, Monday the 19th. I look forward to being with you guys again. And I really want you to take a break. I really do. And I will still be here. I will still be writing my articles. I will still be doing that. But take this moment, go through the old stuff, do some grounding work, grieve a little bit, let go, and get ready because we're doing big work. And I love you guys. Christina says, see you guys in a couple weeks. Excited to come back with everyone. Yes, I am. And on that note, I will talk with you guys later. I love you. I mean it. The replay will be out shortly, and I will see you on the 19th. Bye. Mwah! I love you guys. Big hugs. Bye. Yes, make shift happen. I love y'all. See you on the 19th, baby. Bye, Michelle.